Underworld. Third night of the UK shows. How have the other two been so far?
They've been very good. Old Blue Last in London was the first night. We arrived that day, so didn't sleep much on the plane. Yeah. I think we were all a little bit burnt out mentally and physically, but we had a good show. It was packed and had a good time. I went up to Manchester last night, Sound Control, and had a great show up there as well. Yeah, it was a great night. Last night, I think that Manchester was better than Old Blue Last. I think tonight will be the best yet. I think we're just getting in our groove and warming up and just feeling good. So
it's got to be, must be what, 8 years since you were last over here? About that?
It's 2006, I believe. Yeah,
2006.
So, yeah, about 8 years.
Yeah. Have you got any sort of memories of touring the UK in the past?
Yeah, we have a lot of memories of the UK. Our friend Sheep is actually singing in Swan Song, who's playing tonight. He booked our first show in Leeds on our first tour over here. We've been friends with him ever since, and he took us on a lot of adventures over here. That's I think some of our most vivid memories of the UK. We broke into a abandoned mental institution and drinking beers and getting into all sorts of trouble. Just having fun, and he was really into that at that time, breaking into abandoned places. So we did a lot of that.
Yeah, a few nights later we broke into someplace else too. It was like an old church, and then had
a few near-death experiences.
Yeah,
and but we always have good shows in the UK, and I really like our supporters over here. Just seem like really down-to-earth, nice people. They appreciate what we do. Yeah. They know all the lyrics. They always turn out. So we love the UK. It's good.
I mean, it was great talking to people last night that, they saw us like the first time we were over here, I mean, we came over the first time, 2003 or something like that?
Yeah.
And so to have people, in 2015 be like, I saw you in 2003, it's like, really? You're still doing this too?
The amount,
thank you.
The amount that your life can change in 12 years is very dramatic and drastic, and to have someone that, was maybe a 19-year-old then and is now... 31 years old. That's amazing. You might have a wife and a kid and a serious job by now. You're still coming out to the punk rock show to support a band that you love, and that's amazing. So we really appreciate that.
Cool. I mean, you're doing Reading and Leeds in the summer as well.
We are.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to those shows?
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. We've never played a festival that large. We've never played a festival that's just sort of a rock festival or music festival. It's always been more punk or hardcore oriented. So that will be by far the biggest festival we've ever played. But there's a couple acts on the bill that I'm excited to see, and I think it's going to be really cool. Really good time.
I mean, it's one of those things, just like an honor for us. The fact that we were asked to play that is just like, whoa, that's great. Cause, I mean, we were obviously not planning on it at all, and it was like, well, you guys want to go back to Europe again this year? Play that? It's like, well, yeah. It's amazing. So, I mean, we're all really, really excited and feel just, honored to be able to do it. So
that's cool. So it's been nearly 2 years now since you guys released Fever Hunting and came back and everything. Was you surprised by the reaction you guys got, or was you sort of anticipating that sort of thing?
I don't know what I was anticipating, but I was definitely humbled by our response when we came back. Releasing the record was something that we wanted to do, kind of in order to come back. Sort of. Just an affirmation for the people who do support us that we're back to play music and be a real band and not just doing reunion shows. Yeah. So it's been great, and kind of relating to what we were talking to before. So many of the people who were with us back then are still with us now, and we've also got a lot of new fans, really young kids. Play all ages shows. See 18-year-old kids going crazy and singing along, and that's really fucking cool too. So it's good to see the new generation. It's good to see the older people come out still. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Do you feel that sort of in your absence that the hardcore scene changed much, or was you still involved?
I get that question a lot. I've always been involved. I didn't leave hardcore punk rock when I wasn't playing in the band. I was still going to shows. I think mostly your perspective changes. Obviously, styles of music are constantly evolving and cycling, but I think that, when people, and that's something that, I write about to some extent, is I think when people grow older and their lives change, and they look back at their youth with that music, and then at the time in their lives now they say it's not the same anymore. It's not like it was then, and I think that's overwhelmingly false. I think that it is. The spirit's still the same. There's still an underground. There's still basement shows. There's always new bands coming up and putting out a demo tape or a 7-inch that blows people's minds, and so I just try to remain optimistic and always be looking for new bands that excite me and that I love, and getting to play with Sheep and Swan Song is very cool. He's an old friend. Terrible Feelings is a new band that we're really into and we're really excited to play with, and Birds in Row is another Death Wish band that we're excited to play with. So I feel good about the way things are now. I think things are always changing, but nothing ever stays the same. No. So.
Also, I think it's a question too to look at. It's like, all right, did this change or did I change?
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm a completely different person than I was 12 years ago. And I'm going to look at life differently. And so I think in the end, everything evolves, but I think, people saying, oh, it's not the same. It's like, well, I'm different too. I live my life differently.
I'm not listening to the same things I was 20 years
exactly,
ago.
And, busier, you're not out of, isn't the center of your life maybe every single day anymore, so, but.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands, I wouldn't say really new bands, but in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, bands that sort of directly say you guys influenced them, say Touche Amore, Defeater, that always cite you guys. Does it feel good to, or you're sort of proud to influence another generation of bands?
I don't know if there's a bigger honor than someone to say that, like, oh, I loved your band so much and we started playing like you guys were an influence on us, because all of us have those bands to us, and I don't know, people act like we're going to be pissed about that or something, oh, can you believe this band is like sounding like you, and influenced by you? It's like, well, it's a huge honor, like, it's great,
I think it's,
every band is influenced by someone. No one is just like 100% original, like no one's ever done anything like you before, and so I just take it as a huge honor, and I think those bands are great. So
also we become friends with some of those bands, and we have friends in Defeater and friends in Touche, and I even actually got to sing on the first Touche record. I did a little guest vocal, and so it's just it's cool to meet those guys and become friends with them, and to see them succeeding on the level that they are. It's really exciting. They're succeeding on a higher level than we were ever able to when we were around originally. So it's not a competition.
No, of course.
It's not a competition, and I like to see them drawing big crowds and selling lots of records. I think that they believe in what they do, 100% in the same way that we do. And I think the kids who are into those bands feel as passionately as our fans do about us. Yeah. And there's a lot of crossover there, so it's a huge honor.
Yeah. Do you feel a little less sort of pressure now that you guys aren't a touring band, so to speak? You do the sporadic weekends, whereas before you were quite full on. Do you feel less pressured as a band now?
Absolutely. Certainly financially, there's much less pressure. Yeah. We're not depending on the band to make a living. So if we go out and do 3 shows and break even and go home, go back to my job, everything's cool. I went and had fun with my friends and had a great time, and that's all there is to it. We do make money, that's nice, but we're not depending on it for a living. So it gives us more freedom to play the places we want to play with who we want to play with. Yeah. And I think the shows feel more special and significant to me. I remember every single show we played last year, and every band that played in every venue, and I remember hanging out after the show and how much fun we had, and so it's a little more special now, and I like that.
That's good. Yeah. Obviously as well, we've got to talk about Witness being 10 years old this year. It's obviously, to a lot of people, it's like the quintessential Modern Life of War album. What does it sort of mean to you, that record?
Well,
I think that record holds a special place to all of us, definitely. We were at a crossroads a little bit at that time. We put out My Love, My Way. We knew that we wanted to put out something important. We wanted to put out something special, but it was a difficult record for us to write. Yeah. We were in our early 20s. We were all changing and kind of developing our own people, and just trying to write that record along with it, and trying to do something different, and trying to come up with something different that all 5 of us agreed upon, you know. It was a really, really trying record to write for us. And so looking back on it, I think there's mixed feelings with everyone in the band about, you know, but we're all very happy with it, you know, with the outcome that it ended up being. But it was a difficult process to do that, you know.
In terms of how we felt, well, I'll speak for myself, and I think that at least a few guys in the band would agree. It was a personal low point for me. Like the time we were creating that record and recording it, it was the worst I ever felt in my life. Right. You know, not to be dramatic about it, but that's just the truth. And also, given that, our friendships were probably as weak as they ever were. And we've been friends, you know, since we were very young. And so it was a trying, difficult time. And I think that's what you hear in the record. Yeah. That it's not the most technical record, and it's not, you know, the heaviest record, and it's, you know, like, but there is something about it that connects with people. And I think it's just that genuine feeling of like having these strained friendships and not being happy with who you are as a person, and it's just genuine in that manner, and I think that's what people attach to about it, and that's, you know, in a way what, you know, this is all about is 2 people feeling the same way, and someone being able to put it into words and put it into a song, and someone else relating to that, and then you coming together, you know, in a room like this, and kind of like, you know, working it out. Yeah. You know, and it's that's the most amazing thing. To me, that's the most amazing thing in life. Yeah. Right there. So
was it sort of important to honour that 10-year anniversary, you know, with the reissue, the full album shows you're doing? Did you feel it was important to recognise that was legacy, if you will?
I had a bit of mixed feelings about it, just because I don't like to get too nostalgic about the past. I like to be in a band today. You know, we have we have a couple newer records, and, you know, we're still moving forward. We're working on writing new songs, but at the same time, it's 10 years, and it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to a lot of people. So in the end, you know, I did decide it was a good idea to honor that, and we're all excited about it.
Cool. It's only really one sort of last question. I dare say there wasn't an end game with Modern Life is War, so to speak, but do you feel over the years you've achieved what you set out to do with the band?
We just talked about that last night.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, you know, professionally, but more personally.
No, I mean, me and Chris just talked about this last night, and I can, you know, Chris can jump in here. I can try to sort of relate what he said, but, you know, we're just... This is loud. He was just basically saying, you know, that me and him, you know, had classes together in high school, and we'd sit and like look at magazines with, like, you know, the Descendants, and we'd, you know, we had these records that we were just obsessed with, and we'd go out to shows, and we were starting local bands, and our ultimate dream was to play in a band that people cared about with our friends and travel the world. I mean, that was all we needed to die happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we accomplished everything that we imagined we could accomplish years ago. You know? I mean, like, I think we hit that mark, like, a long, long time ago, you know? Like, I was saying to Jeff that it just resonates in my mind that I was reading this interview in some small zine, and it was about the band Against All Authority. And they were a really small, you know, punk band from Florida, I believe, or whatever. But I liked them a lot at the time. And the guy writing the zine was like, you know, I feel so lucky I got to interview my favorite band. Right. And that just hit home with me that, like, oh, this small punk band, you know, like, this is his favorite band. Out of all the other bands out there, he can say, I like this better than anything else, like what these guys created. Yeah. And I think it was always my dream to just at least have one person that was able to, like, look at our band and say that, you know, that we created something that somebody else likes better than anything else, you know. And, you know, I think we've accomplished that. And so, I mean, to me, that was one of the biggest goals we could do, you know. And then it was always just, well, we want to put out a real record, and so we decided to just all pitch in money to make that happen, you know, like, well, we'll put out a real 7-inch, you know, like, it's not a demo tape, it's not something we're sending to record labels, like, we're going to put this out, and we're going to do an East Coast tour, and if that's all we do with this, then, like, that's cool. We put out a record, and we did a tour, until we went to the East Coast and played shows, you know, and we did that, and then things continued on from there, but at that point, that's all we really cared about and wanted to happen, you know, and, like, if that's it, you know, but that's what we want to do, so.
Cool. Yeah, anything else you guys want to add?
Everyone should check out all the other bands that are playing on the bill tonight. Check out, get online and listen to Swan Song, listen to Birds in Row, listen to Terrible Feelings, and also check out Swain, who we played 2 shows with. I think they're all bands worthy of your attention, and give them a listen. So check those guys out.
Check them out. Brilliant.